just what has become known as the New Apostolic Reformation, which, when you boil it all down, it basically amounts to a sort of Illuminati-type conspiracy theory that was started by the secular liberal media to demonize Republican candidates who were associating with charismatic and Pentecostal ministers around the time of the 2008 presidential election in the U.S. And so in order to do this, they basically drew on some terminology coined by a preacher named Peter Wagner. They conflated a number of other unrelated theological issues like postmillennialism, Seven Mountains teaching, and some standard charismatic and Pentecostal theology. And then they combined all of this with what they saw as fringe political positions, like those that were being represented by what was known at the time as the Tea Party. This conspiracy theory was adopted by heresy-hunting evangelicals, who then took it a step further and tried to use it to paint charismatics and Pentecostals not only as heretical and unorthodox, as they'd always been doing, but now they could characterize us as dangerous and nefarious as well. This NAR thing is basically a conspiracy theory, and its origins are the liberal media. And I don't think anyone would have ever heard about the NAR again if it weren't for those evangelical heresy hunters. They just gobbled up all the vomit. They just built out this NAR conspiracy theory to such a ridiculous degree that anything and everything that they disagree with theologically is just painted with this broad brush called the NAR. And anything that's particularly strange or weird that goes on somewhere in the charismatic world is automatically identified with the NARs. Consolidated all of their acrimony and indignation into a single straw man effigy that they just flog endlessly, that NAR conspiracy theory.
And I'm telling you right now, the evangelical, especially Calvinist community, is going to pay a huge price for this. Because if things continue the way they are right now, they'll end up creating such a toxic echo chamber that they will lose anyone who's even somewhat reasonable and be left with nothing but a bunch of bitter, balding, middle-aged incels living in their parents' basement surrounded by empty pizza boxes and Dorito bags, wearing Call of Duty headsets and bathrobes and trolling everybody online. That's what I honestly envision when I read some of these comments from these guys on YouTube calling everyone they disagree with a heretic and part of the NAR. And they use the NAR thing as a sort of trump card that they just throw down to automatically win every debate. It's just a red herring. It's an irrelevant, lazy, dishonest cop-out. How about we leave the stupid NAR straw man out of the discussion?